street performers performing by the roadside. And then Garuda did a remarkable job on that. I mean, their designers, they used this illustration. I mean, it became a kind of a from to kind of a story, that from here to here.
We welcome you all to the second season of Trends Literature series with our 117th episode. I am Dia Aneja, and with me is Neeta Aneja, and we are both the founders of this literary series. Our aim has been to interact with authors of books which provoke thoughts, ideas, and dialogues. Today we have the book The Gymnast, a book on street performer Roshni, written by Mr. Sanjay Chandra, an engineer who drove the course of his life into entrepreneurial journey, and a storyteller par excellence who sees stories all around him, apart from being a book lover, traveler, and a photographer.
Sanjay, most welcome. Our conversation has been long due, but must say I've been really looking forward to having this one. So welcome once again.
So, thank you so much, Neeta and Dia, and thank you for a wonderful introduction. Even I have been looking forward to meeting you both, and it's a pleasure to be here with you this morning.
Thank you so much. And before I proceed any further, as usual, our shout out. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Trends Literature Series, and press the bell icon so that you can get notification on all the author interactions, all the interesting author interactions that we keep on having from time to time. Sanjay, you've dedicated the book, The Gymnast, which has been published by Garuda Prakashan, to all the children who perform on the roadside. And, and they earn money for their families and their loved ones. Do you think the book, which is essentially a work of fiction, can really help out these kind of children on the roadside? And do you really think they also can have a fairy tale ending like Roshni did, like Deepa did, like Pradeep did, and their family did?
So I would say, Neeta, this is only the beginning. This is only a beginning. In fact, these street performers, whether they are children or young adults, we see them all over the world. You go to any city in India, you would find them on all the traffic junctions. In bigger cities outside India, you would find them performing at the metro stations or railway stations, outside the railway stations. They are all over the place. And in fact, these are the people who are just trying to earn a decent livelihood without begging or stealing. And I see nothing wrong in that. But the point that I'm trying to make is that we have become we are so used to seeing them every day of our lives that we have become immune to their presence. We are not sensitized to their presence, what they are doing. In fact, it's not just those street performers, even their family members also. They would be working for us in some way or the other. The plumber who might be coming to do a job in my home, or the electrician who might be coming, he would be the father of one such street performer, or the mother may be working as a housemaid in my house. And so that set me thinking, and I realized that if I could write a story, and if people read that story, when people read that story, even if one person is inspired enough to support one child, even just one child, then at least one life would get changed. And so I do genuinely feel that over the years, this book and maybe similar books that might come by other authors also, they would and should make a difference in the lives of these street performers.
You're so right. Whenever you go to Europe or US or any other country, you see such talented buskers, as they call it, the street performers, on the street, making a living, and they're respected so much. I remember recently I went to London, and there was this street performer who's now a viral sensation in India by the name of Wish Music. That's how he goes. And he's,
Right.
imagine he's made such a big living. He's performing all over London. People in India look up to him when they go to London in Oxford Street. You had the other day Manish Paul joining him on the street. So definitely, since it's a licensed affair there, I think it has much more respect in Europe and London and all these places. But do you think we need to really kind of put a structure to this and make it perhaps a license affair so that our talent can get noticed towards an end of infinite possibilities?
Eventually, Neeta, that has to come. It might
Mm.
not happen today. It might not happen in the coming few years also. It might take a generation for that to happen, but eventually that has to happen. You know, for us, what we are very used to is that we want someone else to be doing a certain job. And in our country, it's the usual punching bag is the government. So we say that, okay, government should do something, the government should create something. But we as individuals also, we as citizens also, we who are now relatively better off than most of the people in our country, we also have a responsibility towards our society. We have started something like a corporate social responsibility for the corporates. But what about the individuals? There is a social responsibility. We also have a social responsibility as an individual. In fact, the other day I was speaking to someone, and what he told me was an eye opener. They said that each Gujarati, uh, he donates. I think he mentioned the word 10%, 10% of his annual income towards charity. Now, and I am sure that there are other communities also, because most of us are doing some charity or the other. I would not call this as a charity. I would call this more of a responsibility towards the society. Society has given us a lot, and this is our way of returning back only a part of what we have gained, what we have gathered. So yes, I think eventually, replying to you, eventually that kind of structure will do come, but it has to start from us, each one of us.
Absolutely. And each of one of us, as you said, maybe through your book, even it can make a difference to minuscule of the performers, or maybe 1% of the performers. I think our job is well done. Coming back to the
Exactly.
book, please do enlighten our viewers, because I have read the book, but there are so many of us, or maybe people in the audience who wouldn't have read this book. So would you please perhaps like to enlighten our viewers on the book in brief? And why do you think the book should be read, though we have discussed it a bit earlier, and why should it be really introspected upon?
So, see, the idea of this book came to me when I had just completed my first book, The Life and Times of a Common Man, and you know, I had been seeing, as I mentioned,
I think you need to unmute yourself, please. Yeah.
I would say, and life at least, and but I had never really thought much about them. And coming back from the market or some place, I once again happened to look at them, and then I realized that, yeah, these children have immense talent. What if someone is able to nurture the talent of even one child? Probably that might make a difference in the life of that child, and the child may be able to attain its potential so far as the talent is concerned. So that set me thinking, and we have these, as I said earlier, also these house helps who are working in our homes, and miscellaneous people who come to our homes. They are living in these jhugis. So that set me thinking, and I started writing this manuscript. I was very sure of my first chapter at that time, and I was certain about the end of the chapter. I wanted it to be a story, an inspiring story. It may not appear believable or to a lot of people, but I would say that it is a doable, a believable kind of a story where this family has three children, and all the three children have some talent or the other, and they want to pursue that talent. And so that had me writing this book about a family from the eastern part of India. They are forced to migrate to Gurgaon to earn a little better money because of repeated floods in their villages, and they are not able to make ends meet. So they shift to Gurgaon, and they happen to come across this Good Samaritan, and there is an array of people, different people who come together to help this family. And so initially I had written about my initial manuscript was a pretty thick manuscript where I wrote about all the three children. Uh, and But then I realized that possibly it may be a better idea to concentrate on one of the child, the youngest of the child,
Yes,
of
Roshni.
the children, Roshni, and see how she performs and what are the just touch upon the lives of the other two children and or the problems that they are facing or the challenges they are facing. So that I decided to write it into as a three-part series, a series of three books in the lives of each of the three protagonists. So this is how the Roshni, she is just about 7-8 years old, and how she starts going to the school. She goes to a camp. She's fond of doing these cartwheels and tightrope walk and trapeze on the foot, and how that talent gets converted into a talent for gymnastics. So anything more than that, I think, would be giving away the entire story, because I'm very fond of speaking, and so I have a tendency to give up the entire story. I would not like to do that.
No, we would not like you to give the entire story. All I can tell everybody is that it's a wonderful story. I finished it in one go and I really loved the content, and definitely a book of resilience and strength of the human spirit, as well as the inherent desire in every human being to dream and work towards that dream. So, Dia, you'll take the question forward now. Thank you.
Yes. So you were so right when you said that we've become so desensitized to this that we often tend to not see their plight or rather hear their talent. And we don't realize how inspiring it can be. And your book, it truly helps us be aware of it. And so your book will definitely inspire so many to dare to dream. And as you've quoted William Ernest Hadley, I'm the master of my fate, I'm the captain of my soul, so inspiring. So I have to ask, since this book will be inspiring so many, what is the best comment on the book that you have received? Any certain anecdote that somebody has quoted after reading the book that made you feel happy that you had written this book?
So you made me feel happy right now. And Neeta made me feel happy right now that she was able to read it in one go. So there, the book has been well received, and most of the readers who have read it, they have found it to be an inspiring story. And so there's no not a I would not say there's a single anecdote. Recently I met someone during a wedding, and he said that. He had read the book and he enjoyed it. But there was this person, young person from I think Siliguri, and he said that the book was gifted to him by his uncle. His uncle wanted him to read the book, and he was a totally unknown person to me, and he connected to me on my social media, and I was really moved. Because when unknown people come and tell you about gifting of a certain book, so that you feel good about it, and so that was a good incident in my life, and uh, that's it. Yeah.
I have to say, this is a book to everybody watching. We recommend you to read it. It it depicts lives of people who basically we see every single day but tend to ignore, and millions of children's lives it is shown here. And in fact, the protagonist's wife does mention very pragmatically in the book that who will nurture the future of such children as there are millions. It does seem like a lost case to the naked eye, I would say. So, what are your thoughts on this?
See, it might appear to be a lost cause. As I said, yeah, there are millions of such children, as the one of the lead protagonists mentions about it. But is it really a lost cause? I do not think so. As I said, that if there are billions of such children, then there are millions of people also who are relatively better off, and who have it in them to change the life of just one child, one person. So it's not. I'll tell you, since you have read the book, uh, there is a school projected here, which is run under the tree. It's an open kind of a school where the children from these underprivileged children are given basic education. Now, this school actually does exist in Gurgaon, and there is a good Samaritan. There's a businessman who is running this. He had started with this one school. Now I think he has three schools. And when you talk to him, if and when you are able to talk to him, he's so proud about it. There's a obvious pride in his voice when he speaks about this school, because he says, okay, this child, he had studied in my school and today he's working in the municipal corporation of Gurgaon. Or this child, he's pursuing engineering from such and such college. Or this child is gone to, say, leading one of the leading schools. So there are these people around who are doing a lot. There are these NGOs who are doing a lot. And so it's not such a lost cause, actually. And the live example of this not being a lost cause is, if you would see, over the past few years, even in our athletics, there are so many of these gymnasts who have come from relatively poorer background. So there was someone who supported them, supported that gymnast. Or even look at IPL. Somebody once mentioned to me, and that set me thinking that IPL has given a platform to so many people to play cricket at a national level, which otherwise they did not have that platform. So I personally feel, yes, we can do a lot, and a lot of things are being done. A lot of people are coming forward to support these people. It's every you have to start with a step, and that step, when more steps join in, which eventually they will. I am quite confident about it, which they will, because we are a growing economy, we are a developing economy, we are doing so well. So people would be coming forward, are coming forward to support these children, and that is what will make the difference in the lives of these children, and difference in our lives, and difference in the life of the country as well.
So very right. The family in this case in your book were really, really, I would say, overall quite blessed. I mean, they had different benefactors at different point of time. Too much of a blessing, I would say. Like, for example, Budh and Chaya, they had Sandeep and Neeta. Then you had Geeta and Madhu supporting Roshni. Then you had Rashmi, who helped Deepa. Then you had Rakesh, who helped Pradeep. In fact, I must compliment you. You've really woven the story pretty well together. But yes, you mentioned your inspiration, but how long did it really take you to weave the story together? How much time did you would like to share your writing process with the viewers? How much time, right from the first word till the last, and also your cover page, which is quite relevant.
So, in my first two books, I was not so very structured. My first one was The Life and Times of a Common Man, and the second is This Gymnast. So I was not all that structured. I thought about the start, I thought about the end, and then I started writing the story, scene by scene, character by character. I started writing the story. That's how I did it in this case. Subsequently, my writing process has changed a bit. I'm now first creating a structure or a skeleton, and then putting flesh and bones to meet to the story. That's how I am writing my subsequent stories. And my first draft was ready in about 4 months' time. I started writing it around October 2019, and I had completed it by about January 2020. It's the tougher part starts thereafter. My first draft, I gave it to my first critique and editor is my wife, Nina. So she did the first round of editing and she suggested some improvements, some changes. So then I rewrote a lot of the story. Then again, she went through it. She has been a pillar of support, I would say. So she went through it again, and it took me almost about another 6, 7 months. Once she was satisfied, then I gave it to my elder daughter Pooja, and her English and grammar is good, and so she then went through it tooth and nail for English and the grammar. So this entire process from the time that I had started took me about a year when I got ready to send it across to publishers. And at that point of time, I had the concept of literary agent. I had read about it, so I sent it to a few literary agents as well. It was picked up by Lalita Ravindran. She has her own literary agency, First Forays Literary Agency. So she picked it up. She called me back. She read it and she called me back. She said, Sanjay, I mean, it's fantastic. And I would like to represent it. So I said, fine. And so then she started sending it out to the publishers. And then Garuda said that they would like to take it up. And when I spoke to Garuda also, Prashant ji and Ankur ji, they were equally excited. They said it's a wonderful story. So that encouraged me. I would say that encouraged me. So it was about 1.5 years, I think sometime in 2021 or so, that I was able to sign around March, April. I signed the contract with them. And then it went through another. In fact, even before that, also Lalita also went through a lot of editing, etc. She told me to reduce the word counts. So that is the painful part. And then the team Garuda, also their editorial team, went through another 3 rounds of editing plus typesetting also. So that's how it has taken me to 2021 and almost about 3 years for the book to actually come out to be published. So the writing part is easy, I would say. It takes about first draft is in 4 months, but then that rewriting and everything and creating multiple drafts, multiple versions, that has taken a lot of time. So probably, possibly in my subsequent books, it should not be taking that longer. But this is how I have written my first 2 books. My third manuscript, which is now with different publishers, is a slightly better, I would say, time wise, I would say. I mean, I that also I completed in about 4 months, and then it has also gone through those iterations and everything. And so I'm more structured now in my writing.
Sir, I have to ask you, since you've now gone through the whole process of writing, you've written books, so do you face mental block, or rather, as they call it, the writer's block, and how do you face it?
Oh, yes. In fact, currently I'm going through a writer's block for the longest writer's block that I have gone through. So, see, I try to, there are days and there are, which may stretch into weeks or even months also because of some, maybe family situations or medical emergencies and things like that, stuff like that. So I do face that. I try to keep myself active. I am an avid reader. So I read a lot. In fact, for the past few years, I've been reading almost about 60 odd books every year. Different genres, fiction, non-fiction. So I read a lot. I write my own blog under the title Musings of a Pioneer. In fact, recently, about 3 months back, my first of these blogs got published in the Hindu also. And so that is it. Then I also, whatever books I read, I write a review of those books and share on my website and on my social media. Then I also, like you are doing, I also started author show. I started about 1.5 years back, and so we have had so far we have about 25 odd authors with us. So that that we have been doing. So I would say I keep myself engaged, I keep myself busy, I keep myself active, so that at least my mental faculties do not go haywire. And so that's how I try to, I and every day then I try that every morning, at least for 3 to 4 hours, I'm sitting in front of my computer writing something. It may be a book review, it may be my manuscript that I'm working on, or it may be my blog also, or it may even be a short story. So that's how I try to overcome my writer's block. Sometimes not successful, but sometimes, yeah, successful as well.
Right, sir. Sir, when it comes to writing, I am sure all your readers want to know what exactly are your future plans and when your next book will be published and everything that is
Okay.
going.
So I tried totally a different genre in my third manuscript, which is I have titled that as Behind Closed Doors. This is a murder mystery and set around COVID times, and so that's a murder mystery. That's a totally different genre altogether. I enjoyed writing that, and I have been fond of reading these murder mysteries. Are like Sherlock Holmes, Poirot. They have been my favorite characters, and more recently, I would say the Robert Galbraith's Cormoran Strike. So I have read all the books, and so here also I have created a detective, and this time I have created two assistants. They had a single assistant, but all those famous people. But so I have created two assistants, and so maybe I would write more of these crime thrillers in the days to come. But the fourth one, so this manuscript, the Behind Closed Doors, is I have sent to the publishers. A couple of publishers have already accepted it uh, through traditional publishing. One publisher is asking for some time, about another 1 month or so. So I'll close it over the next maybe a month, might or so. Thereafter, it should take another 3 to 4 months. So maybe by August, September, we should have it out. The fourth manuscript that I am working on, where I am facing a writer's block, is a very socially relevant subject. It's about adopted children. Uh, the children who are adopted, they do not know, they have not been told that they were adopted until they attain a certain age. And when they come to know about it, then the trauma that they would face, or that they face, about
So
knowing
right.
that they were abandoned by their biological parents and adopted. So I'm writing on that, and that's a very, I would say, very emotionally draining subject. So probably that is the reason why I'm going through that block. And and you asked me one more thing about the cover of the book, which I think
Yeah.
I did not
Yeah, you
speak
didn't
about.
answer that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this, see, this is the cover, and so the top one, the black and white part of it. Actually, this I have I have put inside also. So this, yeah, this is the one. Yeah. So, there was an illustrator on one of my WhatsApp groups, a young illustrator. I liked her illustration, so I asked her. I gave her this concept, that what I wanted, what I was looking for, and so this is what she created: street performers performing by the roadside. And then Garuda did a remarkable job on that. I mean, their designers, they used this illustration. I mean, it became a kind of a from to kind of a story, that from here to here.
Right.
Like,
So right.
that's the journey of the lead protagonist. This
Lovely. No,
uh,
and we also
I'm,
look forward. Uh, yes, can you hear me? Yeah. We also look
yeah, I can
forward to
hear you. Yeah.
maybe the series 2 and the series 3 of this book. The stories have to continue. You
Sometimes, yeah.
empower. Yes, we look forward to that because you've mentioned on the book it is Street Performance 1, right?
But yeah,
Book
book
1
one,
of
yeah, book
Street
one. Yeah.
Performance series. So I really encourage you to please further write this so that we can continue with the story. You empower one person and you empower the entire family. So this was the story of Roshni, Deepa, and Pradeep. Life gave the family a second chance, and how you have to go through the book to understand all that and be inspired and understand the power of dreaming. And somebody making your dreams come true. Thank you so much for these sessions, Sanjay. I mean, it was wonderful talking to you. A long planned session, but yes, finally we could do it today on a wonderful Saturday morning. And thank you for being on the session.
Thank you so much, Neeta, and thanks to Dia also for a wonderful session. I really enjoyed myself speaking to you both.
Same here. We enjoyed it as well. And one must really read to get inspired by the story of this very, very simple family. So thank you everyone for watching this episode. We look forward to your joining the YouTube channel and see further more authors like Mr. Sanjay Chandra joining our sessions in future too. So do subscribe to our channel and receive all the notifications. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.